Ramses II, also known as Ramses the Great, was one of the most prominent pharaohs in the history of ancient Egypt. He ruled during the 19th dynasty for approximately 66 years, and his reign is considered one of the longest and most successful in the entire history of Egyptian civilization. He was born around 1303 BC, during the reign of his father, Pharaoh Seti I. Ramses was the son of Seti I and Queen Tuya. From childhood, his life was marked by his status as a member of the royal family, growing up in a privileged palace setting. As a prince, he received a comprehensive and specialized education that included training in literature, religion, military strategy, and administration. His father, a pharaoh known for his military exploits, took the young Ramses on various campaigns, with the aim of familiarizing him with governance and leadership on the battlefield. These early experiences profoundly influenced Ramses's character and his future political and military approach. At the age of 14, Ramses already held the title of Crown Prince and was named co-regent to his father, a common practice in ancient Egypt intended to ensure a stable transition of power. Thanks to this co-regency, he gained direct experience in the administration of the kingdom before becoming pharaoh. Following the death of Seti I, around 1290 BC, Ramses ascended to the throne of Egypt without major conflict. His rise to power was relatively smooth, largely due to his prior preparation and the solid education he had received from a young age. His reign began when he was approximately 25 years old. During the early years, he established his capital at Pi-Ramses in the Nile Delta, though he later also reinforced the importance of Thebes as a religious and political center. From the start of his reign, Ramses II stood out for his ambition as a builder. He spearheaded numerous architectural projects throughout Egypt, overseeing the construction and restoration of temples, monuments, and statues. Among his most notable works are expansions to the temples at Luxor and Karnak, as well as the construction of the impressive Abu Simbel complex, which would eventually become one of the most iconic symbols of ancient Egypt. In the second year of his reign, Ramses II faced an external threat, an invasion by the Sherdun, a group of pirates also known as part of the so-called Sea Peoples. These warriors formed a confederation of mercenaries who, in the late Bronze Age, attacked some of the most powerful kingdoms in the Mediterranean. Ramses successfully defeated them and subsequently integrated many of them into his own army as elite troops. This victory helped to reinforce stability in the eastern Mediterranean region during part of his reign. One of the best-known episodes of his reign was the Battle of Kadesh, which took place around 1274 BC. This battle is considered one of the most important and best documented in ancient Egypt. The Levant region, which encompassed territories in present-day Syria, Israel, and Palestine, held enormous strategic value due to its trade routes and natural resources. Both Egypt and the Hittite Empire had interests in this area, which led to growing tension between the two powers. Before the Battle of Kadesh, Ramses II and Hattusili III, king of the Hittite Empire, had reached agreements to avoid direct conflict. However, tensions escalated when Egypt accused the Hittites of supporting rebellions in territories under its influence. Determined to regain control of the region, Ramses II organized a major military campaign into the Levant. He relied on the numerical superiority and training of his army, but the Hittites managed to take the Egyptian forces by surprise through a well-coordinated strategy. Taking advantage of a moment of vulnerability, they launched a surprise attack on the Egyptian camp near the city of Kadesh. The swift offensive caught Ramses's troops off guard, and they were attacked from several fronts. Amid the chaos, the pharaoh was temporarily cut off from the main body of his army. According to Egyptian accounts, Ramses II was forced to fight almost single-handedly alongside his personal guard to hold off the attack until reinforcements arrived. These accounts, though likely exaggerated for propaganda purposes, highlight the pharaoh's courage and determination in a critical situation. After withstanding the initial attack, Ramses II managed to reorganize his forces and launch a decisive counterattack. Meanwhile, the Hittites, convinced they had defeated the Egyptians, began looting the enemy camp, which led to a breakdown in discipline among their ranks. Taking advantage of this situation, the Egyptian army attacked with renewed vigor. The Egyptian chariots, lighter and more maneuverable, proved particularly effective against the Hittite chariots, which were heavier and less agile. This allowed Ramses's troops to regain ground, and even the battle. The confrontation ended without a clear victor, with heavy casualties on both sides. Instead of continuing hostilities, Egypt and the Hittite Empire chose to negotiate a peace agreement. This pact, known as the Treaty of Kadesh, is considered one of the earliest international treaties in history. The agreement established a defensive alliance between the two powers against external threats and ensured a period of stability in the region. This event represents one of the earliest examples of formal diplomacy between major states. In addition to his campaigns in the north, Ramses II undertook several military expeditions to the south, particularly in the region of Nubia. The goal was to protect Egypt's borders and secure control over the area's valuable resources, such as gold and precious stones, which were essential to the kingdom's economy. One of his strategies was to integrate Nubian warriors into the Egyptian army, which not only strengthened his military forces but also facilitated stability and control over the conquered territory. Ramses II also stood out for the careful construction of his image as a divine and powerful ruler. Unlike previous pharaohs, whose inscriptions could be altered or erased by their successors, he ordered that his reliefs and sculptures be deeply carved into stone, making them more durable and visible. On a personal level, he had a very large family, with several wives and numerous children. Among them was Nefertari, one of his most influential and beloved consorts, to whom he dedicated monuments such as the temples of Abu Simbel. Also well known is Meritamon, one of his daughters, who went on to become one of his wives, following a common practice among Egyptian royalty to preserve the purity of the bloodline. During his long reign, Ramses held several said festivals, ritual ceremonies intended to symbolically renew his power and demonstrate his vigor as a ruler. These rituals reinforced the idea of continuity, stability, and prosperity in the kingdom. Ramses II died around 1213 BC, after ruling for approximately 66 years, making him one of the longest reigning pharaohs in Egyptian history. He was buried in the Valley of the Kings, although his mummy was moved several times over the course of history. His successor was his 13th son, Merneptah, and the transition of power took place without major conflict, despite certain internal disputes. The legacy of Ramses II endured through his impressive constructions, his political influence, and his role in the consolidation of Egyptian power, marking one of the most brilliant periods of ancient Egypt.